difficulties. That is absolutely perfect. After some very, very strange technical difficulties, I can happily say that we are back in time for the start of the race. And it seems like this is oh, there we go. And it's lights out. No, it's not. And Genio gets a drive-through penalty for a jump start. And the grid is, oh, it's crazy. Wan is still in P1. Tobias maintains P2, and there's a Renault spinning. I think it's Flow. The game needs to sort itself out because I don't know what's going on. Okay, I think it's here. Wan still P1, Tobias P2, JJ Dog with a good start up into P3. Lupus up into P4 as the game still corrects itself, and a car retires. It's the McLaren, and he's in the barrier. Flo looks like he's got a problem. It's all going on right now, even with the timing screens being completely... Bjorn leaves the session. Doesn't seem like there's any major battles right now. The Force India drivers are pretty close together, as Wan is still in P1. Oh, is there a safety car? I can't see anything on my screen. Okay, I need to change this. Here we go. That's much better. Okay, so I think we have a... Well, we're back to racing now, as it might have been a virtual safety car, but I'm not too sure. The game didn't tell me. There's some really close battles going on at the back of the midfield, especially with the racing points. Don't do it there. Got to be really careful. Tim Matz and the it's all going off. 5-shot Ryan's looking to make a move up the inside. He thinks better of it. Molly Kaj, I think, has lost some of his front wing. He's really struggling at the moment. As 5-shot Ryan looks to make up some places after his demotion. Wan is still leading after lap 1. Yeah, Molly Kaj is just losing places to the cars ahead as Edzax and Golomp gets past into turn 1, or does he? It's still close. They're still side by side. It looks like he's given the position up. So if the game is correct, quite a few cars are pitting. I'm assuming that's for wing damage. A really key element of this race is avoiding wing damage. It seems like a few cars have not managed to do that and have had to pit for new tires. The Alfa Romeo has had to queue up behind his teammate. Wan still leads in P1, Tobias P2, JJ Dog P3, Lupus 4th, Otapa in 5th. He's looking to press on. Both the racing points in 6th and 7th. Tin Mats in 8th, Edzax 9th. It looks like there's quite a good gap between every car. Nobody's really close. 5-shot Ryan's a 10th behind Red Zach as he tries to move around the outside and he gets it done. Wow. You really have to trust the second guy there to give you enough space. That was good racing. Oh, why does this game? Come on. How many versions of this game they have? They can't fix the timing screen. This is poor. So it seems like there's not much actually going on at the moment. Wan has got quite he's building a good gap to Tobias. Or Tobias is hanging in there within 2 seconds. Lupus and Otapa are sharing the same space of track alongside JJ Dog, who I'm sure will look to keep those cars behind him as he slides into the barrier. The rears is going to start screaming very soon. You want to look to get off those tires. Excuse me. As Molly Kaj looks to come back from a disappointing start where he's lost 6 places, and is coming up behind Ahmed. Lupus looks like he's putting more pressure on JJ Dog, whose tires or the rears look like they're starting to give up a little bit, which is understandable, especially around a track like this. So we'll follow him through as he goes a little bit deep, but you don't want to make any overtakes through that corner. You wouldn't dare. As the cars flow through, there's some wing damage there. Oh, it's Tobias. He's lost his wing. Oh, he spun. I didn't even see this. Oh, is that a safety car? Was that a virtual safety car? It's not telling me, so I have no idea. It's looking like a virtual safety car, as I can't see any safety car deployed, unless that is... Yeah, no, I don't think there's... Actually, I saw the sign, but I didn't really see the sign. Yep, VSC. Okay. So we'll resume racing soon, but Tobias has completely lost his front wing, which is going to cost him time in the pit lane, especially as I assume the virtual safety car, there you go, would have gone in by the time he gets to the pit lane. So we look to Lupus, who's applying pressure behind JJ Dog. He's using that overtake, as is JJ Dog, but almost defenseless. Is he going to try the undercut? As another car spun. Who's that? Is that one? Woohoo! Oh, the race leader spun out. Yeah, I don't think he's lost his wing though, so he'll be lucky to avoid a pit stop. As it's going off everywhere now, Otapa gets past one. Alex gets a 3-second time penalty. The racing point is now up behind one, looking to make a move. But it's really going off at the front. Lupus is now the race leader. I'm sure JJ Dog maybe would have defended the position a little bit better, knowing that, if he'd known that one might have spun out. But nevertheless, top 3 is a good result at the moment, as the top 5 are covered by less than 3 seconds. We've got a good race developing here. Tim Matz in P7 on the medium tyres. I'm not sure if he's made a pit stop. I'd have to check. No, he hasn't. So he's in very, very good shape at the moment, as is John Gacho. And one has spun and put it in the barrier. Wow. 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 So Lupus leads still. JJ Dog or Tapa into the podium positions. Wow. So the cars that started in the top 3, one only now gets going. Oh, this has gone from it's gone from bad to worse. He's lost his wing. He'll be in the pits. He'll be hoping for a safety car. Tim Matz and the Racing Point battling for P5. Otapa's looking like he wants to have a run at JJ Dog, as Lupus is starting to stretch his lead. Tobias gets past one who's lost his wing, so he'd probably be surprised to see him on that piece of track, bearing in mind they were the leaders. Both Haas drivers, or one Haas driver now out of the points, one is soon to be out of the points once he makes his pit stop, so that'll be very disappointing for them, especially as they were supposed to start 1-2, but obviously 5-shot Ryan had second 5-place grid penalty, excuse me. It seems like Otapa maybe doesn't have the straight line speed. Tin Mats making a move on John Gacho. Oh, but he keeps his car there as he gets past, no damage. Armin at the back about to come past the Ferrari of Golomb. Oh, as they just clash wheels, but that's okay. Maintains his position. Is he going to try around the outside? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Oh, and he's lost some of his wing, has he? Yes, he has lost some of his wing. You see up at the front, it's getting really close again, but Lupus is really, JJ Dog right now is the cog in the bottle. He's holding the guys behind up. Hopefully for his sake he can do it for longer, as the first pit stop comes. Wow, as Otapa flies over the curb, almost hitting the barrier, but he keeps it out. So there's 3 cars here within the space of basically nothing. We'll see how this plays out right now, as 2 of them will have DRS. It looks like Otapa's drifting through there. The rear tires are definitely screaming at this point in the race. It'll be difficult to keep those alive, as the Racing Point, oof, that looks close. It looks like Otapa and JJ Dog are both into the pits. Yep, they're both into the pits. So JG will look to get an overcut. Might want to use everything at this point. It'll probably be difficult, but he definitely want to try, as Golomb retires from the race. I'd like to know what happens there. Is that a safety car? I think that is a safety car. Yep, it's a safety car. So who does this favor at the moment? Does JG gain a place? He might. He might. We'll see. We'll see what tires everybody's on. So you've got the top 2 still on the softs. Lupus should pit and retain his position. Tobias on the hard tyres, it looks like he could make something work from that if he's got no wing damage. And the pace that he has as well. But currently we'll wait and see how things pan out. Wan's put on the hard tyres. We'll pick up the race leader going through the middle sector. And where is JJ Dog and Otapa kept the same positions. So I'd say they are a net P2 and P3, but with the way that this safety car and the time the safety cars come out, that is not a guarantee. We'll see how quickly they can get in and out before those other cars come round. I'm assuming everybody, or these two, the front two, will pit. Maybe Tim Matz and John Gatcher would be a smart idea to pit 5 laps, maybe put on the hards, try and go to the end. You've got track position. JJ Dog and Otapa are both pitting for mediums just before the safety car. Watching the mini map, I can see JJ Dog coming down the straight right now. They'll really be pushing the limits of the delta to get ahead, and JG gets ahead of Lupus in the pit lane. Wow, so we have got a new leader on medium tires. Ooh, whereas Lupus is on the hards. Okay, so it seems like in regards to going to the end of this race, Lupus will have the advantage. Tobias is now back up into P5. Edzak's down into P9. I want to see the position change. How do you do that? Here we go. Okay. So, wow. So, JG started in P15. He's up into P1. Lupus, JJ Dog complete the top 3. With the Mercedes of Otapa into P4. And I'm not sure what is going on here. They'd want to be careful, because the last thing you want to do is lose your front wing behind the safety car around here. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. But it seems like the pack is bunching up now. There's a few cars, about 5 or 6 cars on their way around. Hopefully so there's a few drivers where this safety car has really played into their hands, I'd say, especially with Lupus taking the hard tires. He would be looking to go to the end, as well as Tobias, John Gatcho, Edzaks, and Wan down in P13. But as I said earlier, you have to be careful. You have to make sure you don't lose your front wing. That's really the most important thing around this track. If you can drive around and stay consistent without having to make an unavoidable pit stop, then you'll find yourself in a good position, as I'm sure JG will be feeling he has done as he leads this race after starting in P15. So when will the safety car be in? I think it'll be another lap. It'll be very interesting to see how he approaches the restart with the very long straight. Would he try Valtteri Bottas from Tuscany, or we'll see. We'll find out soon. In this moment, I'm going to take a 1-minute break just to refresh myself and prepare for what I anticipate is going to be a very, very interesting safety car restart. Okay, so I anticipate the safety car being in on this lap. We're about to find out as we approach the Sector 2 line. Really, I feel like the game should do it a bit earlier around certain tracks, especially where Sector 2 is. Around here. So, as we look to resume, out of the top 3, only one car on the hard tyres, that is Lupus. So he may be slow at the beginning, but he will want to look to capitalise on having the better tyres and go straight to the end. Tobias still in good position in P5. Let's see how this plays out. This is going to be crazy to follow, I'm assuming. And let's see when he goes. He'll want to... Tobias gets a 5-second time penalty as he lost his front wing, collision with Tim Mats as the pack are beginning to bunch up. And let's hope we... Oh, and he goes. He's gone. He's let it go. The Red Bull and the Mercedes are fighting over P3. Side by side into turn 1. Oh, he just avoids damage. Otapa gets up into P3. JJ Dog down into P5. P6 now as Tim Mats gets past. John Gacho still in P7. It's the top 2 have remained the same. Otapa breaking into the top 2. Tobias, who's doing exactly what he'd want to do right now and trying to get onto the end of the guys at the front with the harder tyre and look to go to the end of the race. Fire Shot Ryan also would want to make up places. Red Zach in P8, battling with John Gacho. I need to change that. As the top 10 are still quite close together within a few seconds. Is anybody gonna... Oh, wow. Watching that corner is just... You're just wincing, waiting for something to happen. And we really hope it doesn't. But it seems like everybody's got through there cleanly. Yeah. Tobias is looking at the back of the Mercedes as he really looks to get a move on. And somebody's hit the barrier or maybe lost the rear end. It's Lupus who's struggling on those hards. Otapa will want to get past as soon as possible and get back onto the end of the car up in P1, as one is down in P12 still looking to come up the order. Tobias, let's see how this plays out. There's 3 cars now, no DRS until the 3rd lap. As Lupus takes back his place, I've had to hold my breath for a second there. I didn't have a clue of what was going to happen. He comes back at him, does Tobias. Just squeezes enough. Let's see if he can... Tim Mats still in P5. We can't leave this. Otapa locking his fronts. Okay, so Lupus has managed. This is really a big battle here. The 2 hard tyre runners, they'll be looking to go to the end. So this could well be for the race lead as Juan goes up into P10, also on the hard tyres. Otapa 2.8 seconds behind the leader, but you see these 2 are really getting racy, and as a result Tim Mats and JJ Dog are looking to join the party. Green flags, so JJ, is that JJ Dog? JJ Dog is spun. He may have been hit, I have no idea. But what I do know is, has he got wing damage? Hopefully not for his sake. He'll be... Oh, he's got wing damage. That's so unfortunate. Juan up into P9 now, really chasing down those drivers ahead. As John Gacho locks his front wheel and 5-shot Ryan gets side by side and ahead. Oh, this is a close battle here. I wonder if he maybe would have wanted to stay behind. We'll find out as Tobias is looking to make a move on Otapa. Let's see, sorry, not Otapa, Lupus. Let's see if he's got the straight line speed. Lupus still 7 tenths behind Otapa. DRS enabled after the 3rd lap. John Gacho coming up behind 5-shot Ryan to take his position back. This is what I meant. Maybe, oh, he's got, oh, so close. Very close to making contact, but fortunately they don't, as Ahmed looks to join that battle. Oh, and he spun it. I think he's lost. Oh, yeah. That, I don't know how that played out, but somehow Ahmed managed to be the car facing the wrong direction. Tobias, Lupus, and Tin Mats still keeping a handy eye on the ongoings ahead of him. Gino up into P10. Seems like there's a lot going on in front of him. We'll watch that gap with Tobias and Lupus. As Ahmed retires, is that a crash? I'm not. Oh, I think he's. Yep, I think he's crashed. I think he's crashed out of this race, unfortunately for Ahmed. And Tobias, and he's left the session. And Tobias is looking like he's going to make the move now with the DRS to get onto that podium place. But as I said, I do believe that this fight will determine the outcome of this race, as he pulls up alongside but doesn't have the straight line speed. And he tries again now with overtake enabled. They're both really catching Otapa, who has no DRS. The gaps look to be, is it interval? Yeah. The gaps look to be building between Juan and John Gacho. It seems like Juan at the moment is in a race of his own, just looking for consistency, trying to bridge the gap to the leaders. As Edzax looks at a move but thinks otherwise. Tobias is still behind Lupus and Otapa, who will begin to struggle with tyres earlier than the other two drivers. JG still out in front, controlling the pace. 4-second gap. It looks like this battle here is going to get very, very interesting. 4 cars all within DRS of the other. So we're going to watch for that one and see how things play out. Edzax closing up behind John Gacho, also with Virginio following very closely. Alex currently just in the background. But this is really the fight we want to watch, as they fly over that curb. I'm not sure how they do it. I guess I'll try that in practice before my race, take a few tips, but this is going to be crazy. Okay, so it seems like Otapa's not got a good exit. I don't know whether that was tactical or not. Will he get DRS? We're about to find out, as these 4 cars, or 4 soon to be, are going to go wheel to wheel. Yeah, Otapa got the DRS, so that might have been tactical. If so, very smart, because he's kept his position in P2. Tobias finally gets past Lupus. Tim Matt's still just behind in P5. As we look to Virginio, who has a look on Edzax, but has too much straight line speed at the moment. So it's still that battle out front that is looking very handy. 4 cars separated by nothing. As you can see, 2 on the mediums, 2 on the hard tires. So really this will be very interesting to see how this plays out, as 5-shot Ryan looks to get to the back of these drivers. So it's looking like Otapa, or really they're all holding each other up, as other cars are looking to join the party. Edzax down in P9 and 10, still battling with John Gacho and Virginio. Oh wow, this is a really good battle here. 5 cars. Yeah, 5-shot Ryan's on the back of them already. He's joining Tim Mats now. So we'll see how this goes. The medium tire runners will maybe be looking at another stop, or their tires will be dead towards the end. It's one of the two really, as they come down the longest, well, I think the longest straight, maybe the second longest straight in Formula 1. Wow, wheel to wheel. This is wow. This is, I don't want to say it's going to end badly, but oh, someone's lost their wing. I think it was Lupus, and 5-shot Ryan goes up into P2. Wow, this is crazy. 3 abreast into turn 1. Someone going to make contact. Oh, and somehow they've not made contact. We're gonna watch it from Tim Matz's onboard as 5-shot Ryan somehow shoots up into P2. No pun intended. Tobias having to harvest some ERS. Is he gonna make this move? This is a dangerous one. Oh, just about. Doesn't lose any of his wing and keeps both cars on track. You don't want to go around the outside there. Wow. Or he's going to try the undercut. He's going to try going around the outside. It's dangerous, but he keeps it out the barrier as 5-shot Ryan looks to check out in front and create a gap before the hard tire runners. Well, Lupus seems like he's struggling a bit more. Tobias has the pace, but maybe not the straight line speed to get past and make a move stick. But 5-shot Ryan, we'll see where he started in this race. Oh, after qualifying in P2 but starting in P7, finds himself back up into P2, 6.5 seconds behind the race leader. He'll look to close that gap slowly as the race comes towards or past the halfway point rather. Tobias will be maybe satisfied, but knowing that he's still got a few cars ahead whose tires may die before his. Well, they probably will die, but we'll just see at what rate they die. It seems like Jorginho's, after all of that was going on at the front, Jorginho's found himself. Oh, he's picked. Actually, he's picked. Okay, so he's down into P14 as Tin Mats comes into the box. So as I did guess, the medium runners will be looking to pit again, and the hard runners will be looking to go to the end. We'll see what offset that creates at the end of the race, whether or not the medium runners will have good enough tires to catch up the guys that put on the hards under the safety car. But it's now 3 drivers, or I'd say 4, but 5-shot Ryan slowly closing the gap to JG out front. Looks like it's 3 drivers currently battling for that final podium position. One included, if he can get onto the back of them quickly enough with the hard tires. John Gacho in a steady P7, as well as Edzak still pretty close together. Alex looking like he's joining that battle after being a few seconds down. We'll watch Tim Mats, who's put on the softs. Wow, that's very surprising. Let me check penalties actually quickly so we know what's going on. No warnings. 1 warning. 5-second time penalty for Tobias. As Tobias finally, or even maybe not, they're wheel to wheel, but he's much later on the brakes, but he might have gone deep, which he has gone deep, and Otapa still maintains P3 on those medium tires. As JG, the race leader, pits, but it looks like he's got a, oh no, it was just a game. He's pit for mediums, which makes a lot of sense. So now 5-shot Ryan leads this race after starting P7, and I think also losing his front wing. Wow, very close to the barrier from Otapa there. He still stays ahead of Tobias. Alex having a look at the back of Edzak's now as Tim Mats gets past JJ Dog on the fresh, soft tires. Red Zach behind Jorginho, who's on the new mediums, or maybe I think he's made that pass. As Tobias makes the move in the middle sector to get past Otapa. I think he had to find something from somewhere as Otapa's tires start to wear, and it looks like Tobias lacks that little bit of straight line speed to do it outright on the straight. Lupus 2 seconds behind 5-shot Ryan now, whose tires will begin to slowly die. I'm assuming it's looking like Otapa might come into the pits at the end of this lap. It might be the best thing for him to maybe put on another set of mediums. See how many stops he's made. 1 stop, yeah. Not too sure what tires he started on, but let's see if he jumps into the pit lane. I think he chooses not to, so he's looking to extend it, maybe going for softs at the end. We'll see. Tim Mats is going to have to use those soft tyres for a long time if he's thinking of not pitting again, but we'll see how that one transpires also. Lupus controlling the gap at around 1.9 as Alex gets past Edzax, or they're battling. Make a little bit of contact, but that's okay. And the race, or the JG who was leading this race, is looking to come up behind the back of Edzax and Alex. He'll want to clear them as soon as possible without losing much time, as I'm sure he will aim to catch the drivers ahead. As we look at the gap to the leader, his gap is 17 seconds. 11 or 9 laps, 10 laps left. Could he do it? Maybe, or maybe not. He'd have to be really quick. So it seems like the battles are, is he going to try something up the inside? Personally, I wouldn't, and he's didn't either. So we'll follow this. It seems like the only battle going on at the moment. Oh, Alex goes very, very sideways. I wonder if JG will look to deploy that overtake and get the move done before the next corner. It's a very risky strategy as he backs out. Oh, don't go down there. He locks the front left. And he gets past the Red Bull driver. I'm assuming he'll cruise past Alex on those new mediums. Look a lot fresher than those on Alex's car. And Otapa still decides not to pit. I wonder if he would look to go to the end and maybe conserve a high points finish, as JG easily gets past Alex, but Alex is coming back at him actually with the DRS. And we'll watch it from Edzax. Oh, and it's a good move. It's a really good move around the outside for Alex. JG on those fresh tyres with Tim Mats, who does the fastest lap of the race, coming up behind the Alfa Romeo of Molly Kaj. I hope I'm saying that right, honestly. Whoa. Oh, don't make contact. Oh, wow. And they managed to keep it out of the barrier and keep it away from each other. That's good racing. I'm seeing Tobias slowly closing the gap, and the top three, or the second and third, closing the gap to the front runner in 5-Shot Ryan, who I'm assuming will also look to pit. Maybe wait for a safety car. I think a safety car would help. Some of the, Otapa and 5-Shot Ryan for sure, it definitely helped them. As JG now looks to get closer to the leaders. He's lost some time in that battling though. I think he lost about a second or two, or maybe 3. I think it was 17 seconds before. The gap now at 20 seconds. Tobias, not much overtake. Let's check. Oh, they've all really not got much overtake. Then again, this track will definitely be one of the hardest to manage the ERS, especially with how much you want to use it on that back straight to attack and defend. At the moment, Lupus in the best position, as 5-Shot Ryan's tyres are probably beginning to go off, hence why he's losing time. Edzax, Alex boxes, we'll see what tyres he goes on, as Tobias is 2 tenths behind Lupus, whose rear end was a bit off there. We'll see how this one plays out. Otapa really falling back on the old medium tyres, with One looking to pounce for P4. But it's looking like this battle, this really will probably decide the race winner. So we look to see how this plays out, as Tim Mats still looks to close the gap. And JG, the gap has remained at 20 seconds to the leader, so maybe he doesn't have enough at the moment to win this race. It's unfortunate for him putting on the medium tyres after the safety car. But it's currently Tobias who's on the rear of Lupus, and it looks like any moment now we'll be taking P2. with Juan also looking to do the same on Otapa. But here we go. Tobias definitely lacking some straight line speed as he claims the position with some ease after a long few laps behind the AlphaTauri, as Juan also gets past Otapa, who pits, I'm assuming, to the soft tyres for the last 6 laps. Yes, maybe he'll look to get the fastest lap. But the battle we have here, it looks like Fireshot Ryan. At this point, you just extend and go to the end. There's not really a point in pitting now. I've made that mistake before. As Otapa comes out the pits just behind Edzax, with Tim Mats, his teammate, behind him in P9. Oh, and he easily gets past on those fresh soft tyres. He will definitely be looking at the fastest lap today, unless somebody else pits later than him and puts on the soft tyres. Oh, very gingerly, very gingerly. Lupa starting P5, I'm sure will be very happy with a podium. Oh, and Tobias has hit the barrier as he lost his wing. He may have some wing damage. That was it's that simple round Baku, really. It's that simple. All it takes is one small lock up and you're in the barrier. Lupus is now back on the end of Tobias, who'll be getting DRS on this lap. This has been a really good battle throughout the race, with Fireshot Ryan still maintaining his lead quite impressively, I must say. As he goes around the outside, oh, they make small contact, but that's okay. Comes back across to cover his position. This is very interesting stuff right here, as Tobias goes a bit deep. Lupus takes the DRS. Will he drive past him? Yes, he does. Oh, and Tobias goes back up the inside. Yo, don't make contact. They make contact, but they both survive without damage. This is some really good racing. Very, very close racing as well. It's quite impressive how some of these guys have managed to go side by side and avoid a spin, as Fireshot Ryan is only gaining from this with what I call a magnificent stint at the moment, without putting any commentator's curse on it. Hopefully he can hold those tires and get to the end, because that would really be a very good achievement on those medium tires, especially against the quick drivers he's up against. So we look down the field momentarily. We've got Tim Mats. I'm going to quickly look at the tires. Otapa, why still saying 0 laps, I'm not too sure. He's got a lot of ERSs coming up against the JG, who was leading this race from after the first safety car. It looks like Tobias might have some damage. I'm not too sure, but he possibly has damage. He's not got any overtake, so he'll be probably looking to save some for the next few laps as much as possible. As Otapa now is looking to get past the Fireshot Ryan pits. Wow, his tires must have been dying. I thought he would have just gone to the end, but he pits for soft tires, and that relinquishes the lead to Lupus. So as the two drivers that were furthest forward on the hard compound tires, they definitely had the best chance of winning this race, and they currently are 1, 2, 3, 4 as well, with John Gacho putting in a stint on the hard tires. And they've made contact and they've gone round. Just like that, as John Gacho resets the track, which you're not allowed to do. Just like that, a race goes from great to bad to worse, let's say. I've definitely been there. Tobias now looking to take the race lead, as John Gacho, he's spinning. Is he trying to bring out a safety car? Yeah, I think he's trying to bring out a safety car. That's just very stupid. It looks like Tobias is about to come past and he's got a bit more ERS. John Gatcho finally retires. I'm assuming that would be a safety car, which was very silly what he was doing, but what can you do? Is there a safety car? Currently, no, there is not. As Tobias comes past Lupus, but you can really see Tobias is running some wing on his car because he hasn't got that 203 miles per hour. He hasn't got that extra straight line speed. With 3 laps remaining, it's Tobias who now takes the lead from Lupus with 1 in P3 after losing his front wing early on. Fireshot Ryan, who was demoted 5 places in qualifying, started P2, or supposed to start P2, started in P7. Otapa, who started in P6, put on the soft tyres after changing to mediums under the safety car. JG putting on mediums. He has a chance most probably to come back at Otapa as these tyres start to go off. Tin Mats in P7. Molly Kaj, we haven't seen too much of this race, in P8. Ed Zax in P9 with his teammate rounding out the top 10. Gino 11th, Alex 12th. We look like they're having a good battle. Without much ERS there though to make the overtake really stick as he goes late on the brakes, and they make a little bit of contact, but it's okay because Gino does not spin around. Looks like he's having some problems with his braking there. Wow, I find it so risky the way these cars clout over the curbs. Me personally, I wouldn't do it, but if it gains you time, I guess why not? Coming around the final corner, this is going to be all the way to the finish. I can see this race being decided over the line actually, especially with how matched these two have been for pace in this race. With Tobias' lack of straight line speed, I do see Lupus easily take him at this lead as his AI takes control. Yeah, quite a straightforward overtake. It seems like the on the straight line speed side, Tobias is lacking slightly as he goes defensive, does Lupus. Tobias will look to get the cutback. Not the greatest of exits from Tobias. Has he got the straight line speed and the overtake to defend? Yes, he does at the moment, it seems. Yes, he does. He continues in P1 for what looks to be another lap. As we go down to Alex, who's having a battle with Gino, who's got absolutely no overtake. So I don't think he'll be getting past unless he's very, very late on the brakes. Oh. This is the battle for the race victory. Fireshot Ryan will look to get back on the podium. Maybe that was his thinking, rather than completely having tyres that are just dead at the end and maybe falling out of the top 3. It looks like he's got the pace to catch one and get into that top 3. He will have to push soon as those soft tyres don't last very long. As Tobias is on the back, these two are just glued together. So JG made up about 5 seconds to the leader after falling 20 seconds behind. Tobias doesn't, unless there's a mistake's been made, he seems a bit further back and he doesn't have the overtake to attack him currently, but nor really does Lucas to defend. So as we come into the penultimate lap, it's looking like it's going to go absolutely down to the wire, with Lupus not having much overtake, but with Tobias maybe smartly saving his overtake for that final run down to the line, as Fireshot Ryan is all over his teammate. And he gets the move done. It looks fairly easily. His tires still could go off, but it looks like at this point he's got a much better rubber underneath him. Yeah, Tobias is saying the gap is one set. Yeah, Tobias looks like he's falling back slightly, but I think Lupus may be using that overtake a bit more, than Tobias. Tobias, who does lack straight line speed. I do wonder if he's not on the back of Lupus coming out of that final corner, whether or not he'd be able to get the run down to the line. He'd want to ensure that on that final lap he's as close as possible. Even for, wait, hold on. Fire shot Ryan, does he have a chance at winning? He'd have to do a wicked lap, a wicked final sector right now. They're not too far ahead. Yeah, they're literally just up ahead. If you can get some, if you can string a lap together after this, maybe we can see him on the back of them also, as it looks like Tobias has had to deploy some of his overtake and Lupus uses almost all of his overtake. So this could be a very interesting finish, maybe 3 rather than a 2-way finish out in front, as Alex is still behind Wutjinho. Seems like the rest of the pack are relatively settled. You might see an overtake here by Tim Mats, who's been on the soft tyres as Alex gets a penalty. Tim Mats has been on the soft tyres for quite a while. Maybe he's looking to, his grip is falling away from him. As we do enter the final lap, let's see how this, as he jumps up the inside, but he's way too late on the brakes. He's going into the barrier. He loses some of his wings, so that's that battle over. Fire shot Ryan. If he has a good enough middle sector here, he really has a chance of winning this race on the line with those soft tires. And if he does so, I really must commend this performance, because after he made that late pit stop, I did not think he'd have the pace to catch back up. But it looks like he could at least be in the top 2 if he's quick enough. Oh, and he puts it in the barrier. But fortunately, he continues to most probably hold on to the podium position. But here we go. Here is the fight for P1. Lupus, who's got 20% ERS left, and Tobias, who's got more. So we're going to see an ERS battle all the way down to the line. And unless you've got to use it all now. You've got to use it all early. We'll have a look at the slipstream effect from above. Can Tobias get past? He's now got the DRS. What? No, not yet. He's now got the DRS wide open. Is he going to do it on the line as Lupus is losing the DRS, but they're both losing the DRS, and that's that. Lupus wins. 5-second time penalty. Wait. Fire shot. Oh, okay, Tobias had a penalty as well. Completely forgot about penalties. Okay, Lupus wins from fire shot, who managed to fight back for P2. Unfortunately for Tobias, a 5-second penalty drops him out of the top 3. One, well, let's say get some redemption after the early spin and losing his front wing, and finishes on the podium. Otapa in P5, JG in P6, Tim Mats P7, Edzax P8, Molly Kaj P9, JJ Dog P10, rounding out the points. I don't think there were too many incidents, so I'm not sure how many penalties will be removed and so on and so forth, but I can say that that was a very interesting race. We'll have a look at the final standings of the race and how that will affect the championship. Very good win by Lupus there. Smart putting on the hard tyres. Managed to stay ahead of Tobias. Well done to him, the AlphaTauri driver. As, yeah, Tobias had 2 penalties. Whether or not they'll be removed, who knows. But from me, thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure. My first race commentating. I was supposed to be with Vilzu, but it was okay. I feel like I did alright. Tomorrow we race in F1, where I look hopefully to have the pace to finish quite high up. I'm sure that will be a very entertaining race for you all. Hopefully you join us then. Until then, thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe, comment, like. We hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.